looks like Echoic is going to start up here in the top corner, and Skullz going to start down here in the bottom corner. Iced, have you seen either of these players at all?
I have not actually. So these are both new players to the lineups from what I've cast last week. Obviously, going to be a few players spread around right now. I believe actually TQ or possibly Vile. There's another show match going on or an open going on right now actually on TL. So a few players spread around through different tournaments today. So I think this might be their kind of their backup roster, but it's definitely no shake. Both these guys are all players actually in the SCL I'm finding are actually of a top caliber. Of course, to qualify for the SCL guys, you actually do have to go through a setup week. It's not just a free entry or anything like that. There was a number of teams that applied for this league, and only a select teams. 2 divisions were created, 6 teams in each division, so only those 12 teams were selected from, I believe, about 40 teams that actually applied. So really good to see that the best of the best are being sorted out here, and this the SCL League is actually really going to take off. So really looking forward to it because yeah, there's some really solid teams here, and it's really fun casting these Clan War matches. I find this is a really unique setup, and I really like the way these go.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to cover the semifinals and the finals last year of Season 1, and a lot of people were really, really into it, including myself, including the casters, and everybody involved. And the amount of signups for clans for Season 2 just grew exponentially, and it really did become quite difficult to qualify for this tournament. And going back to kind of what you said, the different players being folded in here from week 1, you know, in these early weeks, it's definitely good to get your full roster some games and see how that's working, who's working well, who's hot for this tournament, and definitely in week 2, it's nice to see both these clans have enough players to bring out some fresh faces here.
Yeah, absolutely. As Esoteric gets the wall in there on the probe from Skulls, so he is gonna. That probe will go down as it was walled in. That sucks to lose the scouting probe. The SCV from Esoteric's gonna reach the front of Skulls, and he will see that the standard Protoss lineup is being built. I really like Skulls' base layout. I like when the Protoss do take advantage of not having to wall in, but instead make that kind of pseudo wall blocking off the northern part of his base that prevents drops, things like Hellion harasses, and different cheese plays that the Terrans like to abuse there. So Skull's doing a great job with that. But yeah, touching back on the lineups, it is really awesome to see different players from different teams actually get in there, and you never know. You have just amazing StarCraft players out there from even local lands that I've attended. There's thousands of unknown players out there. They're just plowing their way through the upper levels of Diamond, and it doesn't mean just because they're not on a team or they might be the 7th person on a team doesn't mean that they really have a unique build and a quick adjustment strategy. So really good to see the different layouts, and these type of clan leagues are the best way to do that. It gets you together with a few of your friends, guys that talk strategy with you, that play the same type of game as you, and that really are going to be able to actually compete. And it's really good to see when these this type of competition comes together. So I love seeing this, and it's still really early in the StarCraft days, so we don't even have our first expansion, no Brood Wars yet, so we're looking forward to Heart of the Swarm, of course, but going to be looking forward to seeing how this evolves and how more clan leagues pull out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, just as we all know as players ourselves, you know, we have good days and we have bad days, and those guys you don't really hear from a lot. Every once in a while they can put together a great day and go for like an all-kill or something like that. Really interesting strategies. People who don't get the opportunity to participate in these clan wars as much as, say, the A-grade players can have strategies that, you know, no one really thought of, as Echoic right now pushing out some Hellions, hoping to get some you know, good harass over here on the Protoss. But like you said, you know, the game is still so new, and there are still so many players. They are out in the ether, developing strategies every day, playing. You know, maybe not on a clan quite yet. We haven't heard of them, but they might very well end up here on the SCL as Echoic, looking like he's going to do a Hellion drop over here to Skulls. Don't think that Observer is going to see it. I think it's going to be just out of the Observer's range right there. He is going to see the factory double starport, and Skull's going to turn around and try to see anything coming out of those starports, but I'm pretty sure he missed that medevac, and as the Hellions make their way to Skull's base right now, and Echoic going to see what he can do as far as harassment on the workers. And, you know, the building placement, like you said before, Iced, might actually hinder Skull's base defense right now. If he can get in, tucked away in that corner with the Hellions, it's going to be a little while until the Protoss units can get there. But instead he opts to put the Hellions up high. Probably not the best idea for Echoic. No kills there, not much, and it kind of gives up the goat as far as his strategy there. So back to the drawing board for Echoic.
Yeah, see, this is exactly it. Skulls was able to create that little wall, give himself just enough time to completely deny this drop. Obviously, Echoic's going to try it again from different angles, but as the Force of Skulls grows, it's going to be more and more difficult. This Phoenix is going to completely remove the medevac from the game. Echoic's got a really unique, I actually really like this. So it was a Hellion drop into a double Starport Banshee. You can see that he's got Marines out. The Marines don't have stim or anything like that yet. A lot of the gas was obviously converted into getting those medevacs and those Hellions out as quickly as possible, as well as the follow-up Banshees and Vikings that are coming. But really unique build, actually. This is a new one for me. I've only ever seen this one time from Druby with the forced Hellion drop. That's Druby, of course, from Team Rube, but really unique transition into the double starport. I really like that. It's very, very flexible. Allows you to get these Banshees out, which against Protoss are just phenomenal. Obviously, Colossus being really strong against the bioplay, but Banshee's able to deal on double levels. If you can just take out these Stalkers, there's only 2 Stalkers in the mix, as well as the Phoenix, which will be hopefully taken out by your Marines or your accompanying Vikings. You can just destroy the entire Protoss army and not have to worry at all. So really unique, as the spectators mentioned. This is super one-base for both players. Obviously, the command center for Echoic is going to be the first to try to take an expansion. He's going to get some bunkers on the low ground just to be safe there. But when it comes down to it, this is pretty one-basey. Skulls did a 1-Rax robotics and then into robotics base. So very, very fast Colossus for Skulls. We'll see if it pays off. He's going on to 4 gates. He is definitely going to need to expand to support this. He's not going to be able to support 4-gate and Robo and Stargate techs, so he's definitely going to be looking to expand there as a probe is pushing across. He's got a good observer placement. He is going to miss the scouting Marine here on the right side of the map that's coming towards his base. I think Echoic's going to be pretty happy, though, that he doesn't see an expansion there, and going to feel like he's got a little bit of advantage economic-wise, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Echoic doing a great job finding out if, you know, the mirrored expansion went up. I'm pretty sure Skulls knew that Echoic pushed out. He had great observer placement right over there on the high ledge where his Echoic's starports were placed. I love how Echoic put out Vikings. I think that is kind of leading to the stalemate that we see right now. I think that Skulls could have probably pushed out pretty effectively if those Vikings hadn't come out, but great foresight there on Echoic's part. I think maybe the early Hellion harassment that didn't really work out as far as offensively it was concerned allowed Echoic to really see what was going on in the Protoss space, and then those Vikings are a testament to that kind of a foresight. And Echoic really looking like he's in a strong position right now.
Yeah, Skull's setting up. The one thing I noticed here, obviously being a pretty tech one-basey build, is no sentries. I'm a little worried about that to even fight against the Terran force. You really need those sentries to box out to help the Colossus. Obviously, there's 2 very narrow openings. Not very narrow, but narrowish openings to the Terran base there. But really need those sentries against the Marauder Marine ball that Echoic's built up. And he has the 3 racks, I think? Yeah, 3 racks. So double Tech Lab reactor, still pumping units out bio-wise. So without sentries, I'm a little worried about Skull's success here. He's going to be driven back, and he's not going to be able to zone the Terran as cleanly as he needs to be able to push this forwards. The Phoenix are going to help just counter the air, the Banshees and things like that, but I'm really, really worried about his sentry count. I personally believe it's the Protoss secret weapon, of course, just being able to zone out any player they come across in any terrain. open ground or even in a narrow channel, force that Terran army into two and cut them down that way.
Yeah, I'm really thinking Skulls is kind of worried at this point. I think the sentries are falling by the wayside because he's worried that his stalker numbers are too low. He's really pumping phoenixes right now. He's spending a lot of gas, a lot of minerals on his phoenixes, and I think that the sentries are kind of falling by the wayside because he's a little bit worried right now. He hasn't really taken a look at the brunt of VileEchoic's army right now. He's a little worried about how much air is involved. His phoenixes are really pumping out really fast, so I think that the sentries have kind of, taken a back seat in his strategy right now with this air superiority kind of worry in the back of Skulls' mind right now.
Yeah, absolutely. VileEchoic, you can see getting onto Ghost Academy. He's starting to get the Mobius reactor, which is the Ghost and instant EMP once they pop. EMP is just going to further weaken Skull's army here, and without sentries, he's not going to be able to zone. He's going to be fighting against a stimmed bio ball here, and if you look at even the unit count, 154 to 118, so this is a 30-ish food lead, about a 40 food lead now for VileEchoic, and that's huge in the Terran numbers without being able to zone these guys. Every stim, everything from the buffed up Terran ball there is just going to be very difficult to deal with. So looks like VileEchoic is going to push out. He's got a great timing. He's a 40 food lead here right now. Ghosts in production. He's just going up against Phoenix. +1 weapons out for the Protoss. So he's going to have a slight advantage on the entire ball that he has produced, except for the Phoenix, of course. But going to see if he's going to try to zone him here, actually, from the side. A little bit of an engagement. The Vikings get some pot shots on the range, taking advantage of their range over the Phoenix. But it's going to force Skulls back, and again, not able to box out these Terrans. There's a couple sentries added now.
Yeah, it looks about 4 or 5 sentries in the mix right now.
Yeah, but don't have the energy to really force this Terran back, so it's going to be really dicey here. This first encounter really is going to set it here, as neither player really is super macro heavy. Third base, obviously, for VileEchoic going down, as you can see there. He is well ahead in terms of economy.
Yeah, very, very comfortable expansion there for VileEchoic right now.
Absolutely, with huge map control, a 40 food lead, and his income is about even, but he's got to look at that, a 30 worker lead for VileEchoic. So yeah, really, really strong economy. He's going to be able to stay in this, and his staying power is really going to show here as he's pushing into the Protoss.
It's going to be a big micro test here for Skulls. See how he answers. Good Phoenix movement there, pushing the Vikings back, but it's all going to be about how he plays this choke point. I'm not exactly sure. It looks like 2 ghosts in the mix. I don't see them in the ball at the moment. There's 1 ghost reaching the army right now, so a well-placed stim here, and it could be the end for Skulls.
Stim gets off. It looks like the Zealots do get into the front of the ball here. No force fields or anything like that. The air is cleaned up. Viking counts, obviously, for VileEchoic were very high. He does force away all the Phoenix, but more Stalkers, more Zealots here, actually, on the field than he could deal with. The Colossus, no Colossus fall. All 3 of them. One's just going to fall, no. So 10, 6, 3, 19 kills for the Colossus, respectively, and that is what changed the game right there. No force fields, no nothing, just the Terran ball was not able to break in. Did not focus the Colossus. I think you need to absorb the Phoenix fire and get those Colossus down and just rely on your Marauders and Marines to clean up, but did the opposite. All of the Vikings were taken out by the Phoenix. There's a great trade, no units left on either side, and Skulls is going to push way across the map here as he's pretty much evened it out, but there's still a 40 food lead. Interesting for Echoes. It must be the worker count that's so high there that's changing that.
Absolutely, that was an absolute bio chainsaw as now VileEchoic taking a cue from you and focus firing the Colossus, and that is the right thing to do, but I don't think he's got enough ground units to support these Colossus going down. I don't think he's got enough Vikings at this point to bring down this last Colossus, and Skulls is going to push pretty freely into VileEchoic's base. The bunkers are there, but they're not occupied at the moment, and Skulls having a very, very comfortable position here in the second expansion, and VileEchoic will call GG on this round 1 matchup between TQ and Vile. And round 1 going to TQ, a little bit surprisingly, based on our earlier observations of last week's results.